President Trump on Wednesday said his administration has terminated funding for the massive Gateway Tunnel project, a critical commuter rail tunnel under the Hudson River that's already years into construction. Now, the abrupt announcement came as the president vowed to kill what he called Democrat projects during the federal government shutdown, after freezing funding for the $16 billion project when the shutdown began. Here's what he said.
The project in Manhattan, the project in New York, it's billions and billions of dollars that Schumer has worked 20 years to get. It's terminated.
Well, the comments are sparking fierce backlash from leaders in the state and region, along with contradictions. The commission overseeing the Gateway Tunnel project says construction is ongoing and they haven't received any communication from Washington, but declined to comment further on that. According to one union leader whose members are working on the project, there are 45 days left before they run out of money. Meanwhile, according to Politico today, the Federal Department of Transportation says it has no plans to kill the projects. The tunnel carries hundreds of thousands of passengers every day on New Jersey Transit and Amtrak on the busiest rail corridor in the country, a point the nominees for governor jumped on today. At a press event in Sea Caucus this morning, Democrat Mikey Sherrill slammed Trump and warned of the fallout, saying the project is critical to both the economy and commuters, while Republican Jack Ciattarelli stressed collaboration over confrontation in a social media post, saying he'll work with and, when necessary, disagree with the president. Now, while the public is all left wondering what happens next, for more on that, I'm joined by U.S. Senator Andy Kim. Senator Kim, good to see you. Thanks for taking the time today. President Trump, in his remarks yesterday, didn't specifically name the Gateway project. Why are many people interpreting it that way?
Well, he specifically talked about, the projects in this region that he's already gone after. He already has singled out the subway line in New York, as well as the Gateway Tunnel. So when he's referring to, the $20 billion or so in the New York area going after Chuck Schumer, we know what he's talking about. He doesn't have to spell it out for us. What he does need to spell out for us is, what does it mean to terminate it? Those are his words. Terminate, and that's something that's sending us into a fury, because this is absolutely a reckless action by the president to be able to give that order to put in jeopardy one of the largest construction projects in the entire hemisphere, and something that would have such a negative consequence on hundreds of thousands of New Jerseyans on a daily basis and impact the ability for about 100,000 jobs. So this is something that I hope everyone across New Jersey sees in terms of how dangerous it is for our state.
This is constitutionally dedicated funding. Does the president have the authority to do this?
No, he does not. And we've seen this kind of lawlessness from this president left and right. So yes, we're going to stand up for this. But this is funding that we pass through Congress. Congress sets the national budget, not the president of the United States, much to his chagrin. But this is something where he needs to follow through on the laws passed by Congress, which is stated very clearly in the Constitution as the responsibilities of the executive branch. For him to think that he can just on a whim hold back funding because he's upset at political leaders, that is the kind of mob boss tactics that people can't stand, especially in New Jersey. We've seen a lot of that stuff before. We can't stand it. This one woman, she's an independent voter. I talked to her a few days ago about this, and she said, I asked her, is there anything you'd want to say to Donald Trump? And she said, I want to remind him that this is our money. This is the American people's money. This is not some slush fund or a personal bank account of Donald Trump's. So he's using American taxpayer dollars to seek political revenge and retribution upon the people that he considers his enemies. And the people of New Jersey are the collateral damage.
What leverage then, Senator, does Congress have? I mean, are you all talking about oversight hearings, court challenges? Are you preparing some type of legislation? I mean, what are you going to do?
Yes, through our committees, we are investigating this and engaged in this on our end. The Republican Congress, the majority in Congress, they are unfortunately standing up with Donald Trump and continuing to allow him to do the lawlessness that we see here. But we're going to use all the power that we have available to us. I'm engaged with the governor, with other leaders in New Jersey about potential legal action and other actions that we can take to stand up. But first and foremost, what we need to hear is exactly what the president meant by terminate. I've asked the Department of Transportation in the White House today to clarify that immediately because the people of New Jersey deserve to know. The Secretary of Transportation, Duffy, he is a New Jersey resident. His family lives in New Jersey. He knows the importance of this. He told me before that how important the Gateway Tunnel project is, not just to New Jersey and New York, but to the entire country. It would be economically catastrophic if we had problems with train transport through the Northeast Corridor. So this is something that is important for our national and economic security.
Well, to that end, the Gateway Development Commission, which, as you know, oversees the work, told us today, construction continues. They haven't received word from the White House. If that is the case, how concerned are you about delays, about what the ripple effect could be if, in fact, it is terminated?
Yeah, well, look, I worked at the White House before, and I understand the importance of having a president that recognizes the responsibility of their own words. So yes, this is something where we need to clarify whether or not the president is going to backtrack on his words, which I hope he does, and that they don't move forward with this type of action. And I hope that that we can convince enough people around him to tell him to back off. And to let this project continue on. There is some runway in terms of funding, but if the president is serious about terminating this, we cannot complete this project without federal funding. And that is something that would be, again, catastrophic for us if we did all this work and we're not able to move on and complete it. If we ever even want to take it up in the future, it would be so much more expensive. So, this is important for us to stand against.
Are you worried at all, Senator, if it is, in fact, retaliation, as you just said? Are you worried at all then that the longer this shutdown drags on, that other critical projects, other funding for the state, for the region, could be at jeopardy?
Well, look, this is their plan all along. This is not just, I talked to some federal workers. I asked them if they were concerned about getting fired. And what they said is, look, of course they're concerned, but their concern didn't start on October 1st. Their concern started on January 20th. This is an administration that has systematically been trying to dismantle our government, fire hundreds of thousands of federal workers, and go after these projects, that they see left and right. Again, this isn't just new because of the shutdown. I believe that this is the belief and the actions that the president wanted to do, even if it wasn't for the shutdown. And they've said so much. So this is something where we see them for what they are. They're saying the quiet part out loud, which is that they want to punish blue states. They want to punish us for standing up to them. And this is, again, why it is so important that the people of New Jersey see this when they're getting and planning to vote for our governor's race. I really do think that this really exposes just the dangers of having Jack Ciattarelli as our next governor. We need someone like Mike who's going to be willing to stand up to Donald Trump rather than someone like Jack Ciattarelli who's just going to continue to take orders from Donald Trump.
Very quickly, is there a fail-safe to continue work if the federal funding stops? Is there an alternative?
Well, look, like I said, we have some runway, and I'd have to engage, deeper in terms of, what kind of costs it would put on our state. But as far as my previous conversations, something like that would be extraordinary. I mean, it would be so difficult for our state to be able to carry the burden left by Donald Trump if he were to terminate this. And look, that's even including on the healthcare side. And the same thing with Medicaid. They're gutting all this funding to our state, saddling us with trying to figure out how to be able to handle this. So put it in that broader context of all the different ways that Donald Trump is hurting New Jersey. And Jack Ciattarelli, like I said, would just continue that and enable this president to hurt our people.
Senator Andy Kim, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.